Raul Ortiz, he's the chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, and he's actually been quite candid and honest about the Biden administration's inability or lack of interest in actually enforcing our immigration and border laws. He's announced that he's stepping down. What's behind that and other issues on the border? Let's continue with Congressman Ralph Norman, Republican out of South Carolina. Congressman, Ortiz seems to be one of the honest brokers here left in the Department of Homeland Security, and now we're losing his voice.
Yeah, you're going to lose a lot more too, Larry. The reports we're getting, and I've been to the border twice, it's horrendous. It's even worse than when I went. Now it's completely wide open. Title 42 has been abolished, and you got people from every country in the world coming to America unfettered. A lot of them under the guise of getting on the public dole and basically being supported by the U.S. government with dollars we don't have. When I was there, the Border Patrol agents were changing diapers. And look at the money that is going into letting these immigrants in. A lot of them are taking flights on our dime.
Yeah.
And it's completely insane. And I don't know how you walk this back. And when I say evil, what this administration is allowing to happen intentionally is basically turning the drug cartels loose, turning the fentanyl loose that's killed over 100,000 Americans last year. But he's tone deaf to it. He doesn't care. In my opinion, he's looking on this as a vote to keep Democrats in office. And it's so sad. And America deserves better than this. Name me a country that doesn't have borders and doesn't secure their borders.
Well, and Congressman Norman, this is actually directly related to our first segment topic with regard to all of the government spending, because there's supply and demand here, as there's anything in our world is explained by supply and demand, and there is demand for all those free benefits and all that great largesse that the federal government hands out, as you said. Flights for illegal immigrants who cross our border and violate our border laws. They're getting free phones, they're getting health care, they're getting escorted wherever they want, and then they get benefits. As long as there is a supply of free goodies for people, and I guess illegal jobs as well, there's going to be demand at the border. How you said there's no walking this back. We got to start somewhere. What should if the next president is a Republican, how do they begin?
Well, we've got an estimated 5 million in the United States that we know of. When you see the gotaways, I don't know how they come up with that number.
Well, hold on, if I could, I want to clarify, the 5 million is just during the Biden administration. We had pre-existing illegal immigrants before that, right? This is the additional 5 million.
Right. And, if it stays on track like it is, Larry, you're going to probably have between 10 and 15 million. And to give you a sense of the size, South Carolina has 5.2 million. We're going to have 3 times the size of the population of South Carolina. That's insane. It's unheard of. It's inhumane, and it should not happen. Now, what's the next president going to do? We've got to get a way to get them out, and the cost that's going to entail, and how do you do that? And what's so insane about this administration is, I don't know how you walk that. I don't know how you locate them, one, and two, with the legal system the way it is, how you make the case that they're going back to the country of their origin.
Well, let's play this out for a minute. If we do get a national E-Verify law set up so that no one gets hired legally unless they clear the E-Verify hurdle, then suddenly there's going to be a whole lot of people who aren't working, at least not legally, in this country. If there's no job, and if Republicans hold the line on not giving benefits to anyone who is not legally in this country, then they will leave on their own, won't they?
Well, the thing about it, the only way you can make that happen is have a wall built. You got to have designated points of entry. I've yet to see a theme park that you could just come in willy-nilly wherever you wanted to come and and take part in the park. The problem we're going to have is we don't know who's here. Not only when I was at the border, they had a name, a number, and a cardboard cutout in front of them that allowed them to get on the airplane. And I assume, like in New York City, they get a driver's license, and I assume they get Social Security numbers and things that that the New York City is providing. Thank God for Ron DeSantis for shipping them back to the different cities, Martha's Vineyard and other cities that ought to bear some responsibility. But bottom line, we have to correct it some way, but it's going to take another administration to do it. And I'm sure if we can put a man on the moon, we can figure out a way to get how to get the illegals back.
Well, Congressman, because of this crisis and because Republicans, for the most part, lately at least, have been on the right side of this issue, this has become already a hot topic between the candidates running for the Republican nomination. Now, Governor DeSantis, who you mentioned, is actually saying that President Trump, former President Trump, is actually moving to the left a little bit on immigration. I'm not sure the basis for that, but President Trump yesterday announced that should he become president, he promises to do away with birthright citizenship. Let's take up that issue. Is that a good idea for President Trump or whoever the next president is to end birthright citizenship?
Absolutely. With what's coming in this country, what other options do you have? I think with this has gone to the point that you've got to have some parameters. Now, the left will say that it's inhumane, that DACA should be in place. I'm sorry, we're past that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're here. And, you can't claim that your right to live in this country is because you had a child here. Well, you came in illegally in the first place. So, and the frustrating part, Larry, is when we grilled Mayorkas on this, he would claim the border is secure.
Yeah.
Which is just an outright lie. That's not reality.
President Trump, although did say that he would take this action via executive order. Do you think that that is the legally sound way to end birthright citizenship, or does this require legislation?
It's the quickest way. I think we're at a critical point now. I mean, think about this. New York City is in a state of disrepair. I talked to a legislator the other day, and the hotel rooms, you can't get a hotel room without being flooded with illegals, and they're tearing the place up. And so that the quickest way, and legislation will follow. And I'm sure we're going to have to fight it in court anyway, but that's fine. You just take the steps that that will try to get the job done.
Yeah, Lord knows there would be court fights, but is this even something that could be taken up as a constitutional amendment?
It could be, but you got to go through the process, getting a 2/3 vote in the House and Senate, and go through the states to get that approved. That takes too long. We're at the stage now, particularly with those on the terrorist watch list. It's not if, but it's when another 9/11 will happen. When you talk to the authorities, they're sure, and these are people that know. You can't let everybody in like they're doing with the cartels controlling it, and with no way of verifying what their background was, were they criminals. And under President Trump, this didn't happen. And under any of the candidates, they will put something in place to stop it and devise some plan to get them back.
And finally, any kind of comprehensive immigration and border policy moving forward has to be done with the cooperation, I would think, of the Mexican government and other governments. We had that. We actually had that cooperation under President Trump. This is a singular failure of President Biden, is it not, that all of those agreements have deteriorated in such a way?
He would look on it as it's intentional, and he would look on it as a good political move because he thinks the 5 million are going to predominantly vote for the left, for the Democrats, to keep him in power. There's no other rational reason for this to happen other than maintaining political power.
Yeah.
And that's why he's doing it. It's not that difficult. It's just intentional, and no country can survive without borders and borders that are enforced. And talk to Tom Holman, people who were involved in the past. You see the pictures. It's horrendous, and it's horrendous particularly for the children coming over. But this administration is tone deaf and basically don't care.
We just worry that we're going to have to wait almost 2 years for actual enforcement to occur because this president absolutely refuses to follow the law. We got to leave it there. Congressman Norman, thank you for your time tonight on two critically important issues.
My pleasure. Thank you, Larry.
There is more to come on O'Connor tonight. Keep it here at the Salem News Channel.